us to assemble here in North Africa is very, very strategic and historic, because this is the beginning of the organization of a worldwide movement of mayors to unite and become one united voice for the cities of Africa, the cities of America, and the cities of the world. We must have our voices heard. Our voice must be heard just like the United Nations. When the United Nations speaks, the world listens. In the future, when Afro cities and Ameri cities, we're going to come together as one united voice, and when we speak, we will be speaking for the cities of Africa, America, and the world. That is why we're here.
We will electrify, we will build dams and roads and bridges and airports. We can do it. We love Russia and China, but we must do this ourselves. We must speak as one voice. Long live Africa. Africa is not a place of home. Africa is a place of royalty. Afro cities, united for peace.
We're here to unite, to begin to work together, to pool our resources, to exchange our universities and their capacities in terms of educational resources. And so this is the beginning of a new movement. I came to this continent in 1984 to organize the World Conference of Mayors. Since that time, we have been marching toward becoming a United Nations of cities. Today, here on the northern coast of Africa, I declare that we have begun that journey to making real the United Nations of cities, so that cities will have one voice in the world.
It has to go beyond just talking. It's about action. So that's one point. And connecting the business people. Africa, America, how can we start connecting people who are in the energy sector, those in agriculture, those in academia, how can in technology, how can we start connecting them? And also business coaching. There could be some who have already gone ahead, and those who are starting, how can you pull their hands and how can we connect their hands so that they start working together?
What we're calling for and what we're believing for and what we're working towards is for there to be a mass return of Africans in America coming to the continent starting next year to participate in this Africa Rising revival that is already taking place. This negative image and picture has been painted to us in the so-called West about Africa. We see jungle, we see sickness and diseases, we see poverty and AIDS and all of that stuff. So for the most part, over the years, most of the Africans in the Americas who have journeyed back to the continent, we're going back with social program, we're going back with social aid. I'm a firm believer that the only way we can liberate Africa is, number one, fix the image, the faulty image that has been painted, and most importantly for us to begin the dynamics of economic revolution. There has to be an economic transformation. So we're not just coming back with social agendas, and I'm not suggesting that social agenda does not have a place, but here comes the richest land on the planet. Everybody from all across the globe are rushing into Africa. They've been doing it for a long time, and we're simply saying we now need to go back to Africa with an economic agenda.
Perception is people's real world. How do we change that perception? We need the Africa PR. We need to create our own PR. We need to write our own story. The narrative is not going to change until Africa writes her own story for herself, to herself, and to the greater world.